Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I am going to be bringing you guys a review on the map Apocalypse and why I think it is one of the best maps in Cold War. We're going to be jumping straight into this video discussing why I like the map, why it works really well in league play and the competitive scene, and what I think that Cold War and Call of Duty in general should do going forward in order to keep these maps coming out at a good pace, but also maintaining something that's actually decent and fun to play. Just before we jump into today's video, if you are new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscribe down below. It'd be really much appreciated, and if you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below, as that really helps me out as well. So let's jump straight into it today. So first things first, the flow of the map Apocalypse is amazing. The way that the map plays out, all of the different areas that you're able to go to, the levels of the map, and also all of the cut-throughs makes this map a fantastic design. Now, it is a traditional 3-lane style map, but what makes it different is it's got tons of elevation in, so you can go up on top of the houses, you can go through the huts, and it's also got those cut-throughs, so like from mid through to coop, then onto the turtle area there, for example, or you can go from middle through the underpass and round to the left-hand lane there as well. It just makes it a lot more viable to move through different areas and flows really, really well. This also maintains a fluid atmosphere throughout, so it means that you don't ever feel like you're stuck in one area of the map because the spawns flip at a relevant point, but when they do flip, you're not spawning in one back corner of the map, for example. You are able to move around, which is what I really, really like and gives it a great edge in competitive. So Hardpoint on league play on this map is now one of my favourite things because of that. The spawns are pretty good so that you can maintain them if you are anchoring, but it's very, very rare that you get pinned in a spawn for the entire time, which does happen on a few of the other maps that we see in league play. Now, albeit we don't have control on this map, and it would obviously be different in that mode, but that is half the fun of control as well, so I guess it swings and roundabouts with that one. Another thing that I really like about the map Apocalypse is the lighting on it. The lighting is fantastic, so something like this map versus Miami Night is really, really difficult to compare, because Miami Night is obviously well lit inside the buildings, but outdoors is quite a dim map. Now, some people do like this design. Personally, it's not for me. I prefer the Miami Daytime. The Miami Strike map that's just been released is a much better for me, and in my opinion, I think that's a better flowing map again, but that's just because I prefer that close quarters play style. But just something different between Miami Night and Apocalypse is the fact that the lit up areas are a lot better. Even the darker areas, you've got more exposure, so that means that you can actually see players moving in them. For example, when they're going through the tunnel there into stone, and that goes on to the P2 hardpoint there is still a ton of visibility in that, including people who are sitting in a little window, which is really, really interesting. Now, obviously, when they've got tons and tons of operator skins, it does make this tremendously difficult to get right, but just the exposure levels makes it a lot more sense on this map to be able to see people in pretty much all locations, which is really, really nice. Another thing I like a lot about this map is the pro CDL rotation of the hardpoints on it. So where the hardpoints are, P1 through 5, are in good, relevant locations, but alternate as well, so it means that people are moving around the map. It keeps the flow and that pace going, but it also maintains a position where you can get a good spawn, hold down the hard point, and lock down the area as well. So this is a really good balance, and something I think they got very, very right with this map. One thing that I probably would change is the upper areas are kind of irrelevant on this map. So upper TVs or maps are only really good for the first hard point and maybe the third or fifth one if you're wanting to play like that, but majority of players kind of ignore this area, and even in pro games it's not used an awful lot. So it is good to have that ability to give people a little bit of a change, so people can be aware of looking up there and making sure that they've got aware of the surroundings. But I do think maybe they could have done with a little bit more of a purpose to them, so maybe another window, maybe in TV towards the side of it there. There is a balcony, I know, but maybe towards the mid window area there as well, although it does cut off these areas really well and does give a vibe of kind of they've got to be up there to play the point well, but they can't just sit up there and spray down, which is one thing that is really, really good. Another thing I really like about the map is the areas that are high traffic areas have a ton of visibility on them from different angles. So in other words, the mid first hardpoint, you've got like 7 or 8 different angles where people can actually approach it from. You've got different challenge angles, you've got different hold angles, so it's really, really good and plays off really well and actually gives quite a fair balance to the game, which is something which we've not seen in a ton of other maps. Now, Miami Strike, some people have said about adding to league play, myself included when I did the map review. Now, to clarify with this, I think it would be really good for hardpoint. Control, I don't see it being actually that good for control in a league play setting. I think it's going to be too close quarters, but we could try it and see. Definitely give it a gun, and you know, if anybody has managed to get the control game mode on it so far, let me know what you think to that. S&D, I think is probably going to be a bit too quick paced for, because it's just a very small map, which is what's good about it. But I think the best version for that map again would be like Apocalypse was, added in with just Hardpoint. I think that would be great for Miami Strike, and I think that that's something they're doing well now with these new map releases, is keeping them close quarters, more down to the roots of Call of Duty, particularly with a boots on the ground version of the game like we have got at the moment. And it's really coming back to its core with these maps, and that's something which I'm really enjoying. Now obviously it depends on your playstyle and kind of your preferences, but I think a lot of players have got the same consensus that these are fun and they work well with the weapons in Cold War, as well as kind of like the trophy systems and all that kind of stuff, which is really good. And it does mean that it's actually enticing the fans to play the maps more, which in turn obviously means that they're doing pretty well. Another thing I really liked about Apocalypse when they released this map onto Cold War is that they'd obviously clearly thought about the competitive playstyle of it, i.e. they've made different levels of cover and ground so that you can be above the enemies, you can be below them, you can be behind cover on each different area of the map from both ends. It's not very one-sided like I said before, and this is something which is absolutely crucial for a competitive map. And again, this may be different, as I say, in Control, but for Hardpoint this flows really well. I also really like that they've gone for a very different aesthetic with Apocalypse to what a lot of the other maps in the game are, and this worked really well. It's a very cool designed map, very funky looking, lots of bright vibrant colours, whilst also maintaining that Call of Duty feel, which is really good, and kind of reminds me of almost a cross between maybe Shooting Range and Jungle, those two maps from Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 there when they were brought back, and those maps were kind of something which I really enjoy playing, and I think it gives me kind of a crossover vibe between those two, which is really fun. Now what they should do going forward in order to maintain a map design like this, or a feel like this, is keep the maps a little bit more close quarters versus close quarters game modes, and maps like Miami where it's huge maps, it's a beautifully designed map. The design team have done a great job on it, it looks amazing, but it's the play style and the way that it plays isn't quite as fast flowing as it should be. On S&D it takes way too long to get to these objectives, or for players to just kind of sit back, pick, and a lot of players, if you're like myself, will get very bored quickly on this map and start rushing in and then getting upset when you die because it's taking too long. And now the other option obviously is to just sit back and chill out for a game during it, but when you're trying to warm up and get into league play games, you wanted to get through them quick, get the points up, I do think that this one takes a long time, so that's where Apocalypse has gone really right with that flow. And again, Miami Strike is feeling to be that same way from the games I've played in it so far, so we'll see whether that's added into league play at a later date or not, but I'll keep you guys updated if it is. But I'm feeling that the past two maps they've released have been really good and a great step in the right direction compared to things like Armada Strike, which are really good for the mode they're on, but you would never see them in like a league play situation. Now there was also talk of Firing Range and of course Hijacked from Black Ops 2 coming back into this game as well, and I think that would be a really interesting addition. I don't think they will be in league play, but I do think they are planning to bring them back for the multiplayer, which should be really fun. And again, that's another step towards that close quarters gameplay, a bit more of a close-up Black Ops 2 vibe feeling game, and that is something which a lot of fans are really excited about. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. Now if you have enjoyed today's video, do leave a like on it, as it really does help me out, and let me know in the comments what you think about Apocalypse and what you think about Apocalypse in league play. Do you think it's good or do you think it's overrated? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you are new, make sure you drop a subscribe. Take care and peace.